Hello everyone, my name is Michelle and I've been learning my target language for 15 years and I'm barely intermediate. If you relate, this video is for you. For those of you who have watched my channel before, this video is really different. All of my videos are in my target language. This channel is for practicing my speaking in my target language. But I think that this type of video is actually really something that I see a need for and also something that I like to watch. This is kind of a commiseration with some ideas. So my target language is Korean, but this can be adapted to any language that you're learning. So to start it off, I am not good at learning languages, obviously. It is not my forte. All of the normal tips and tricks you get from videos, they just don't work on me. I don't have a quick fix or honestly really any solution at all. I'm actually going to start with the methods that have not worked for me. So these are some things that you see really often that just like they haven't stuck. They're things that apparently work for everybody else and I don't know why, but they don't work for me. The first of those is, and I feel like every channel recommends this, is listening to music in your target language and watching movies or shows in your target language with subtitles, without subtitles, with double subtitles, whatever. To me, it doesn't work. I've been doing it for 15 years and I don't think that that has ever helped me learn grammar, learn intonation, learn words, nothing. I don't feel like that helps at all. If there's subtitles, I'm paying attention to the subtitles. If there's not subtitles, I'm not catching enough to really get any of the complex plot points and therefore it's a waste of my time. And then with music, I can't even understand music in English. And if I look up the lyrics, what is the point of this? I may as well be reading a book. There's nothing. And then lyrics are often slang, which is not really what I'm attempting to learn in the first place. Another method that doesn't work great for me or that hasn't worked great for me is flashcards. A lot of people recommend that. It's difficult for me. I want to try and do flashcards better. I know the merit of flashcards, but I haven't really gotten... It's difficult for me to integrate that into my everyday life. The last thing that I see people recommend a lot that doesn't really work for me, and this is going to be ironic, is self-study. It just doesn't work. Maybe that's the reason why I haven't gotten very far in my target language. That's a little tongue-in-cheek because obviously I am doing a lot of self-study. It's just simply it doesn't work that well. First, I'm going to talk about my alternatives to some of those ideas, and then I'll go into what I'm actually doing, what I've tried, and what works for me. The first alternative that I have to watching shows and movies and listening to music, my alternative is to listen to podcasts. You can either watch them with the subtitles on in the target language, in your language, in both languages. A lot of times they have a script, so the best is if it's a language learning podcast. If you can find a language learning podcast in your target language, that's the best. So it would be like kind of an intermediate level, maybe even beginner level, somebody native in that language just speaking on anything. The nice thing about podcasts is that it's really episodic, so you can just kind of jump in wherever. You can often find one that's like things that you're interested in. Some of them have so many episodes that you can just listen to the episodes that are interesting to you or whatever. But I find that it's easy to integrate that into your normal life because if you're around the house doing housework or driving or whatever, you can listen to them. If you want to sit down and really focus on it, you can watch it. You can go through it with the script if you want to. And I just found that that kind of works the best. It's nice because it's natural listening. It's kind of it can be kind of conversational, and it just seems like it's more like realistic to something that I should actually be learning. Some of the stuff in dramas, it's like I don't even need to know these words. I don't need to know political stuff. I just need to know like literal everyday stuff. And so podcasts have really helped with that. If your target language is Korean, I might have some resources that will be helpful to you, so I'll try and put all of those in the description below. So some of the methods I've used throughout the years, I'm just going to go through these. Some of these work, some of these I still use, some of them I don't, but they might work for you. So the first thing is flashcards. I have one for vocabulary and one for grammar. I just kind of carry these around with me. The problem is that I don't do them. I also have an Anki flashcard deck that I use. I think it has like 1,000 cards in it. Really nice for just like or just like recall. If you Google Anki flashcard in your target language, probably some decks will show up and you can just download them, and that's really helpful. I do like to have like paper stuff sometimes, so if I'm like taking a day or taking some time and some hours to just really study Korean, then I will take these, I will make them, and I almost feel like making them is just as helpful as going through them. So I do like them, it's just I don't use them as much as I would like. let me go through some of my older stuff first. So the next thing is just a notebook. This is literally just a notebook. This is a grid style notebook. When I'm watching a video, I will sometimes write down words that I see that I don't recognize. I'll sometimes write down the script that they're using and go through it and kind of, you know, like circle words that I don't know, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes I'll do a diary entry in here. Sometimes I'll go through a textbook and just kind of write out the grammar entries that they have. And so this is just like, it's not pretty. It's just a bunch of mishmash of whatever. And so it's just kind of like, this is where I write down some things. So it's really useful to have that, of course. And then what I used to use is this notebook. I don't have anything in here anymore, except for these. I did grammar and vocabulary. I took everything out of here because I've redone this, but I used to use this a lot. I just used regular notebook paper in here, and I would rewrite textbook entries, and it was kind of more of a pretty one that I could actually go through and study with. And then if I really learned something, I could just take it out. And so that was a nice method that I used as well. Then I have my 2.1 and my 2.2 한국어를 textbooks that I got when I was taking the actual course at this university in person. There's a workbook and then just the like grammar textbooks or the everything, I don't know what you call these, but the like everything textbooks. These are really helpful. We went through them as a class, but I just kept them and I still kind of go through them sometimes. At this point, these are lower. I know everything in these. If there's anything that I really need, that I've rewritten it in another book, and these I just kind of have still because it's nice to have them, I guess, but I'm not ever going through them. Then I have two more. I've used these at a different class at a different time online, and this is just another textbook, a workbook and a textbook. And so it has a lot of, you know, once again, it's the same kind of thing. I know most of the stuff in here, but it's nice to still have it and go through it sometimes. And if there's anything that I actually really want to keep and know, then I will rewrite it in another little book so I don't have to look through this whole thing. In your target language, depending on what your target language is, you can walk into Barnes & Noble or anywhere and find this kind of book. Always useful, especially if you're upper beginning or lower intermediate. These books can really be helpful for learning common grammar. Then I have a textbook that I'm actually going through right now still. I bought this on Thrift Books. Thrift Books is another great option for getting textbooks in your target language. This is Integrated Korean Intermediate 2. This is one of the premier textbooks for Korean. It has grammar, it has conversations, it has vocabulary, blah, blah, blah. It's a really great book. And I'm still going through it, and generally what I do is I will, if there's something that I don't know, I will generally write it out in my little book. So this is my trusty book, my handy dandy notebook that has grammar rules, what they mean, and then an example sentence. And I just have kind of written these out. Every time I'm studying in here, I'm writing these out. And so this is an easier way for me to kind of go through and read and just like quickly get the grammar. I like when it's kind of streamlined like this, because realistically, how often am I just going to like pick up the textbook and read? This is much more likely that I'll like actually go through this book and use these things. Plus, I'm kind of a, what do they call it? Kinesthetic learner. I really like to rewrite what I have read. Another thing, which I have this kept in here, this has honestly been really good. This is, and I'm sure you can find this in any target language. This is the topic 2. So this is Korean for foreign language learners. This is the test that Korean foreign language learners take to kind of see what their fluency is. And this is all of the grammar that that is tested in it. And I think there's 148. It just has the grammar in Korean, the grammar in English translated, and then it has like an example sentence and then a translated example sentence. You can find this in any target language, and I really recommend this kind of thing because realistically, I did not know most of these, even though I am at an intermediate level. There's a lot that are like things that they don't use very often, but are still good to know, blah, blah, blah. And so this has been great. And then one thing I do is that I also use AI to help with some of these things. So for example, this is just a really short example sentence. So it's like, I'm not learning much. So I'll put this into AI and be like, can you explain a little bit better, into Gemini or whatever? Can you explain a little bit better how this works? Give me some example sentences, sometimes when I would use it, sometimes when I wouldn't use it, stuff like that. And it makes a little lesson for you. What I do with those is I just copy and paste them and I put them into a Notion page so that I have all of those like things I've been curious about in one place, and I can just go back to look at them at any time. And that's kind of like a textbook in and of itself, which has been so great. So this is nice. It's not, obviously I'm not studying from this, but it's like I want to go through this every couple months and see which ones I know, which ones I don't, which ones I have no idea about, blah blah blah. So that's been really nice. Another thing that I have is this 500 Basic Korean Verbs, which I recommend getting this kind of book in your target language. I've had this for years. It was actually, my sister got it. It was a hand-me-down from her. It has some of her notes in it still. It is so comprehensive. I'm never going to know everything in here. Never, ever, ever. So it's nice to just pick it up sometimes and just like learn a little bit. It feels very like scientific because it has every form of every verb. So it has declarative, inquisitive, propositive, and imperative. And then it has modifiers, synonyms, antonyms, the passive, causative, honorific, humble, sentence patterns, sample sentences, conjunctives, normatives, adverbial. I mean, it has everything. For verbs, if you know anything about Korean, they have 10 trillion verb endings, so it's really, really useful to have this kind of thing to know. Honestly, I truly will never know all of the stuff in here, and so it's such a boon to have something like this when you are learning a language. It's like, no matter how good I get at Korean, this will still be useful to me. And moving on to another thing that I do, so moving away from textbooks and stuff, another thing that I do is that I have a good friend in my community who suggested that we have a exchange journal. So we write this in Korean. That's upside down. We write this in Korean. So for example, like this, I'll write it out, and she speaks Korean natively, and she will kind of write responses to it. Sometimes she will, like, if something is wrong, she'll say something about that, you know, that something about it was wrong. But it's really great to get just regular written Korean about like random stuff. Like she's writing about random stuff in her day. Like it's just a normal journal. And then I'm also writing about random stuff in my day. So it's kind of like a conversation, but it's written. So it's a little bit more like there's a little bit more thought put into it. And it's been very, very nice. It is hard. It is so hard because in my own journal, it's like I just do whatever. I just write whatever when I'm writing in Korean. But in this, it's like I want it to be a little bit more polished. And so it's great. It is the hardest thing ever. Therefore, it's very helpful. The next thing is, I got this also from thrift books. This is Harry Potter in Korean. I could spend an hour just on a page. I'm just writing out, like I'm just making little notes on it of what these words are and just learning how they're doing quotations and how they're doing conversations in here, and then just literally reading. So I'll read this out loud, which is really helpful for diction and for intonation, and so this is a really great resource. I have the first book because it's in 2 parts, and then I have the second book, first part of the second book. I already know the story and I already know what's going on kind of, so it's very helpful in when I'm reading this. It's like, okay, I actually kind of know what's being said, so I can kind of get those context clues. I'm learning a lot of new words, and it's really fun as well. Another thing I do, if you look at my channel, you will see I make videos in Korean, and that is the thing I need the most. I need speaking experience. I need sentence making experience. It's best if it's like in the moment, but I use a script in my videos, but making the script is really difficult, and that is good as well. So it's been very helpful with pronunciation and like reading quickly and speaking quickly. It's helped a lot, and I recommend doing something like that. If you don't want to make a channel, you can just make videos for yourself. You can have a script or not, but I tell you, it will be so humbling when you listen back on them. So humbling. Or you can even just record your voice. You don't even have to make a video. I did mention briefly, I do journal in Korean, not a lot. I love journaling, so I need to write it in English because I have 10 trillion things to say. But I do try to journal in Korean at least once a week. Just write down what's been going on, what's in my brain. It's really helpful because then I obviously will be like, okay, wait, I don't know how to say this one thing I want to say. Then I can look it up and learn about it. Another thing, of course, is conversation. You know, everyone says it. Immersion is so important when learning a language. And if you can immerse, do as much as you can, as much as you possibly can. I recently went on a ski trip with a bunch of Koreans, and they're all mostly Korean American, but I was the only one who was not, like, Korean was not my first language at all. And there was so much Korean flying around. And I'm being honest, it was literally helpful. By the end of the trip, I was like, Korean was coming out. You know what I'm saying? It was much closer to the front. It was closer to the forefront of my brain because I was hearing it constantly. Obviously, that kind of thing happens when you're in Korea too, but hearing Korean, like, on the street is different than, like, there's a conversation going around you and you can potentially be in that conversation. Those are two different things. I will say that. So it was actually really helpful and it was really nice. So as much immersion as you possibly can is so great. And then I would say listening actively. When you are in communities where they're speaking in your target language, it is really, really, really easy to just let it blow past you. Okay, you have to actually, like, put your brain into it. When I say active listening, I don't mean like responding to them. I mean not letting your mind wander. Oh my gosh, it's hard. That is so hard. Everyone will be like ha ha hee hee about something, and I am not. And they're probably thinking she has no idea what's going on, and I don't. But not because I couldn't have possibly understood it. It's because I simply was not listening. I was not listening. And another thing is, YouTube videos are a great resource. YouTube videos in your target language by people speaking that target language natively. One great way is hobby videos. I love doing my nails. I love crocheting. I love cooking. I watch a lot of those videos in my target language, and it's really helpful. If I need to put subtitles on, then I can. I don't have to. It's nice to hear about your hobbies in your target language, and you'll pick up some vocabulary that will be useful for you in your everyday life. And then another thing is writing down things that I'm curious about. I just write down things I'm curious about. Something that I do really often is, because I know so many people who speak just my target language and not really English, I speak Korean. I have to speak Korean with them, and it's easy for me to, like, not speak much with them at all. But something I'll do is, like, kind of imagine a conversation with them, or imagine a conversation with somebody who just speaks my target language. Inevitably, I will hit a wall when I'm, like, saying something to them or I'm explaining something to them in my head. That is the time when I'm like, oh, okay, actually, okay, this is something I'm curious about. I'm wondering about this. I'll Google it. I'll ask somebody. I'll ask AI. Even sometimes I'll go to Gemini and be like, how do I say this thing in a like natural way? How do I say this in an honorific way? How do I say this to somebody who I know really well or don't know really well? Blah, blah, blah. And I will write that down. And that is actually the way that things stick the most. A lot of times I'll hear something and I'll be like, I wonder what that means. And I'll look it up later. And then I'm hearing it literally every single day. And it's like, how did I not know that earlier? It's amazing what you can learn when you are literally just listening. That has been probably the most helpful thing, is like, I actually am just opening my ears and I'm literally listening to what's going on, and I'm staying curious. I'm naturally curious, and I'm obviously, like, I have an interest in learning my target language. I have a lot of people in my community who speak my target language, so it's, like, useful for me to know it. So I have a lot of motivation to continue learning it, but it's not like every single day I'm happy to learn it and I'm happy to sit down and study and blah, blah, blah. I'm not. It's hard, but it really helps to just be curious and to use your curiosity. What does that mean? How can I learn that? Who can I ask about that? And then writing it down all in a place where you're not going to forget it, where you'll have it for a long time, blah, blah, blah. That is really, really, really helpful. So I just want to say, there is no magic way to learn a language, as we all know. But you know what? The things that work will stick with you, and the things that don't will fall to the wayside. And sometimes those things that work shift. You know, they always shift. They're always shifting into something different. And you know what? That is learning. Whatever works for you in the moment, that's what you have to be doing. And when it stops serving you, you got to do something else. So I just want to say, good on you for trying a bunch of things. Good on you for, like, doing this for so long and for keeping up your motivation. It is so difficult. That is the hardest part. And that is the part that matters the most. Being motivated is what helps you learn languages. It's not about brain power or time or energy or anything. It's just about not giving up. And if you don't give up, you're doing well. If you do not give up, you are doing well. Don't think about polyglots or people who said they learned the whole language in 3 months. It's so easy to get down on yourself. But the fact is, you haven't given up, you aren't planning on giving up, and you have so much motivation to continue this for a long time. This is a lifelong learning experience, and you are doing a great job. And I just want to say, I'm right there with you. I am right there with you. It is so frustrating. Like I said, 15 years, and I'm just at intermediate. It is hard every single day. It's embarrassing. Like, it is literally embarrassing, especially around people who speak both English and my target language really, really well. It's hard to like be in those spaces and not be speaking the target language really well. It's frustrating, but that is one of the things that keeps my motivation up. And I just feel like some days I feel like I know less and less. Like every day I know less, because the more you learn about, the more you realize how little you know. And back when I had been studying Korean for like 1 year, I was like, I'm so good. I know so much. And now I'm like, I know nothing and I am bad. Every day I learn something new. And every day when I learn something new, I'm like, how did I not know this before? I learn basic things still. The fact is, like, language is not like, and it gets harder and harder and harder. It's like, because there's new things you're learning all of the time that serve you in this space that you're in right now that you didn't need to know before. And it's like, how did I not know it? But you just didn't know it. And that's fine. And now you know it and you're doing well. You are learning, you are advancing. And you may not be gaining momentum all of the time, but you are going all of the time. So that's all I have to say. I hope this gives you some motivation to continue on this very difficult journey. If Korean is your target language, check out the resources that I have in the description. And I hope that this gave you some good ideas. And good luck. Bye!